Gangster, 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 gangster. What's cracking? Back live again with your boy J Militant with another episode. Tonight we're gonna be discussing the New York City bomb or not bombing. Gas, I mean bombs that be going off out there. Uh that's what I initially thought. My bad. But the mass shooting that happened out there in New York in the subway. Um, I don't know how many of y'all heard about it, but it was crazy. I woke up this morning, I seen it, didn't really pay too much attention to it, but once I tapped in, I'm like, this is crazy. We got another shooting popping off. Apparently they got the a description of the guy who did it. They talking about there was a 9 millimeter that Cuz had with an extended clip attached to it. Oh wait, hold on for a second, y'all. I'm back, y'all. Um, Don't I double up on me again? Wait for it to clear out. Well, why they? Oh no. Okay, there we go. But yeah, homeboy had a nine with extended clip, and they said he had threw that a whatchamacallit in there. So they said that he had a gas mask and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, he was definitely he was definitely on the hunt to cause a whole lot of destruction. And then on the subway, you really ain't got too much room to maneuver anyways, especially if you catch at that right time of the day. You know, I don't know too much about subways per se. As many of y'all know, I'm from California, and we got other means of transportation. Like in the Bay Area, we got BART. You know, and that's if y'all know how subways are, BART is kind of like the same way. Um, it'll take you from one point to another point. You know, I don't know exactly how it's run out there in New York, um, but I know like out here, BART can take you from one city to another in a matter of minutes. So I think New York, you could take the subway from, but that's just in the boroughs though. I know they can go from one borough to another, but as far as city wise, taking it from one city to another. Um, but that was crazy because you know, as a lot of y'all know, it was a shooting out this way in Sacramento a little over a week ago, and Oh wow. Oh sorry, y'all. I got I got wrestling on at the same time. I'm doing this. Um, but yeah, it just seemed like, well, it don't seem like everybody got to stay ready out there on everything because it's I mean it's not like literally a war, but there's a war going on out there in them streets, and it literally ain't got no name, you know. So it's important. It's important that when you're out there and taking care of your business, taking care of your daily issues or whatnot, what I'm saying, make sure that you are well protected because these people out here today, they ain't worried about who takes the hit, just as long as somebody takes the hit, you know. And then it's like more and more, people being sad, tears flowing, and you know, because times ain't getting easier, times getting harder, and they're going to continue to get harder, you know, until enough of us realize what's really going on and do something about it. The first thing is to stop putting our trust into this government so much, thinking that the government is going to save us when it's the government that's causing all these issues to begin with. You know, they ain't worried about nobody except for themselves. They only want your vote just so they can get in. They ain't necessarily worrying about what you got going on. And for those that actually do mean well and is genuine in the pursuit of trying to make things better, you still got to, you know, because at the end of the day, if you ain't getting along with the get along, then you about to get on. you know. So enough people got enough people got to understand that you know what you may think and what you don't think are two separate things that can affect your life either way. Either way, you know, and and they're not concerned. Yeah, they'll give out their condolences and they'll talk about sending out their prayers and they're going to do everything that they can to support us and other family. All right, it's the same old drag, and people fall for it every time. You know, and then you got people going at it with each other, defending something that at the end of the day, them politicians ain't worrying about it. You you fighting for somebody that's not fighting for you, and under any circumstance, that makes no sense at all. You know, you get up every day, you go to work. Every year you pay your taxes. You know, you do everything right, and then you still get fucked at the end of the day. Why? Because they don't care. They're going to continue on. They're going to continue on doing what they want to do because they know that they can get away with it. Because in their minds, the people aren't smart enough to do anything about it. You know, hey, hold on for a second, y'all. Okay, I'm back, y'all. But yeah, I see people every day go out here and they bust their ass just to just to make a little bit of money just to get by, you know, because they're not going to completely just bring everything down, you know, because if you have nothing to rebuild, then but at the same time, that's why they're doing this in conjunction and why they're doing everything else. So it doesn't seem like it's too blatant, you know. But every time we try to bring this up, there's always somebody like, "Oh, well, it's a conspiracy. It's not real. It's just a rumor." And this is real life stuff. And then what happens is something happens, if not on the point or close to it, to where they look up like, oh, you know what, you was right. I didn't realize that. You was right. And, you look at them like, of course I'm right. you know, especially if it's somebody, especially if it's somebody that doesn't follow, everything that's going on. And so when you tell them, they're going to automatically have this, defense shield. But why would somebody need to, you know, pay attention to these things if the truth was just told? you know, if you just be honest about what it is, things would be a lot better. But the problem is they don't, because it's too much money in a lie. There ain't no money in truth. That's why you have a give and a take. That's why you have promises and contracts and, because everything has to have a price. You know, if I don't do it, somebody else got to do it. You know, because people put too much trust in the government. You know, I know I hear a lot of Republicans. You know, one of their big holdups is having the government do so much or do a lot. They're more like live your lives and let the government just do what they do. And where they do government shit where it's not affecting our lives. Fact of the matter is, that's true to a certain extent, but they need the government just as much because they want to stay in power. It's a power game. It's a power struggle, and everybody keeps falling for it. Especially the people that go out there and they really vote and they push the line for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember a couple of years ago, that was about 3, 4 years ago. The whole thing about get enough people not to go vote. As a matter of fact, no, it was a little bit longer than that. Matter of fact, it was before not this last presidential election, but when Trump had won it. A lot of people, and particularly in my community, a lot of people didn't go vote because people understand that you're not elected, you're selected. The fix is already in. That's why you have situations like Bush and Gore. A lot of people will be wondering, well, was it Gore that was supposed to be a president, or was it Bush that was supposed to be president? The person that is in office was already selected months prior to any type of voting. All you got to do is follow the pattern, and then you got to follow the pattern that gets broken whenever something like that happens, or let's say like a JFK situation where the president gets assassinated, or you have a situation where a Nixon, you know. But even in that, there's a chain of command because you have the president. If something happens with the president, then it goes down to the vice president. If something happens with the vice president, then the Speaker of the House becomes president, and so on and so forth. But they got people out here going out here standing in long ass lines wanting to go vote for somebody that more than likely is not going to win. What you want to go into show that you voted and make you feel like you did something important, make you feel like you did something special. There's nothing special in voting. Voting does work in certain circumstances, and voting um, for different uh, positions such as mayor, city council, governor, all kinds of things. Um, if it if they had a more balanced system, um, like I know everybody hung up on the county and people putting down fake names, and first of all, if somebody passes away, it's already documented. It's already in the system. So I don't know how people out there, get confused when they get a ballot with the same name, and that person isn't even existing anymore. you know. Um, oh, what's up, Lonnie? What's going on? Let's say voting on the local level impacts you way more. Yeah, and that's it, and that's where I'm getting at. You know, even voting locally, you still have to pay very close attention because a lot of people give out handouts. Like people from the top understand exactly like what you're saying. So what they'll do is they'll pass down some favors so that they can keep control of the uh local level. Because it is more impactful because you're actually dealing with the people directly. Once you get up there to Washington, you're not dealing with the people directly. You might get a couple of heads coming up in there for certain special meetings and special appearances and stuff like that. But on a consistent basis, like we're talking on these days here, you know, because these are the concerns that the people are having. You could do that more on the local level. So most definitely, I do agree with that. You know, um, and as far as the president goes, this is the other thing that people have to understand. The president of the United States does not run the country. The president of it says it in his name, commander in chief, which means he controls the military. That's why he has to go through executive orders if he wants to do something directly from himself. Other than that, he has to go through Congress if he wants anything done. It's easier to flip the vote on the local level because the turnout is always way lower at the local level. Yep, exactly. Checks and balances. But you know what the problem is, Lonnie? They be getting the checks, but there ain't no balances. Especially nowadays. Like in the last 10 years, you know, it's not even, and I know they say it for appearances, but they always talk about working across the aisle, working alongside the president, but nobody really does that. You know, there are times over the years where that has happened, where everything, regardless of who was in power or what, things worked accordingly. Especially like in the '90s, I probably say like for me, I probably say that is like one of the times where I can honestly say Republicans and Democrats worked alongside each other. you know, um, because it was a lot of Republicans that signed on to that crime bill back in 1994. That was, created and drew up by a Democrat that just happens to be our president now. And that was like a time where they was working in conjunction with each other. Wasn't on everything, but for the most part, especially when it comes to crime, they was definitely working with each other a whole lot. The After two-party system, damn shame you have to be a part of it. And what's crazy about that, now, even if you're an independent, you're either an independent Republican or you're an independent Democrat. You're not exactly an independent. And that's crazy because like the last time I registered to vote, I registered as an independent. And that's basically because I agree with some of the things Democrats say, and I agree with some of the things that Republicans say. I don't agree with what they do wholeheartedly on both ends, but there are some ideas that I listen to that they do, have that I do agree with, you know. And I know a lot of people when I bring up I watch Fox News, I get that side eye look, or I get that, why the fuck are you watching Fox News? I'm watching Fox News because I want to listen to what they have to say. I'm not going to sit there and just watch CNN or ABC or MSNBC or just be a Democratic liberal. No, I want to hear what everybody has to say. whether or not I agree with it, I still want to hear what they have to say. You know, because and then too, what a lot of y'all don't know, because like when I was a kid growing up, you know, when you get into a lot of fights, you spend a lot of time suspended. When you was doing what I was doing, you spent a lot of time suspended. So you know, I spent a lot of time at grandma's house, you know, during the day because mom's was at work. So she would have the news on, and then my grandfather he would come home and he would have the news on. So I watched a lot of news as a kid growing up, and then you know at that time Ronald Reagan was was the president, but I didn't realize or know exactly what you know a Democrat or a Republican per se was. Um, not not until not until I want to say like when George Bush, George H.W. or H whatever, Daddy Bush, was running, and then that's when I started to get into that side of politics, and I started off, believe it or not, I started off as a Republican because that's what I knew because I didn't I I knew that my family were Democrats, but I didn't really know per se what a Democrat was, but I knew what a Republican was. So I just I went with that for a long time, and then I ended up switching parties in the early 2000s, um, and then I went Democratic all the way up until after Obama uh, became president, and then that's when I switched over to the Independent Party. Oh, let's see, you say Lily? That's because the Independent can't get can't get in, so they have to attach. The, exactly, exactly. It's crazy because that's supposed to be the third party, but that third party is just like a party and a half on both sides. Well, you have to watch both sides because they both push for their belief. They definitely do that, especially over there on Fox News. You know, they go in. I'll be cracking up because they be hella funny to me. Um, Price is Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Man, hey, she was on that every day, and then 12 o'clock come around, the news come on, and yeah, it was yeah. You know, watched a lot of soap operas too. You know, right along with the news because she watched all of it. Yep. Right. Yeah, and hey, and that's when I switched. That's when I switched because I seen what they was doing to y'all out there, and it made me sick. It made me sick to my stomach. You know, because they sit up here and they talk about how, oh well, there's there's no racism. Well, racism isn't as bad as it used to be. You know, black people can make it and have it real good. Uh huh. Motherfuckers knew that that levee needed to be fixed, and they didn't do nothing about it. They knew that storm was coming and didn't do nothing about it. You know, and then to see how how all those people were displaced, having to go to the Superdome, And like I literally, they were showing. I mean, it was the it was the saddest thing to see how how the people were being treated. Our people, because I have family out there too. So you know what I'm saying. It just to see that shit, it just you know what I'm saying, and to see the people on the roofs, and then Lonnie, you know what really got me? All the people that were floating in the water. Hey, man, I'm already knowing. I'm already knowing. As a matter of fact, before I had moved, I actually ran into some people um, that was from out there, uh, and they were young too. They let's see, I was like in my, I was probably like in my mid 30s, and they looked like they was probably like they were teenagers, and uh, and they were telling me their a story, and and they were just looking for some help. And fortunately, I had something on me. You know what I'm saying? And but I did before I did anything because I know that a lot of people have been doing like scams, trying to use Katrina as a ways to line up their pockets. So you know what I'm saying? I did what I could, and and I did some other things too, during Katrina, because hey, it's my people out there too, and just as black people as a whole, we gotta look out for each other regardless of what state we in. Yeah. Dang. Oh, you was 18? Yeah, I was 26 at the time. Yeah, it was 17, but it still feel like it wasn't that long ago. It feels like it just happened. But you know what though, Lonnie? That should have been the time that should have woke us up. It should have had taken, us being killed by the police on camera for us to wake up. That was the particular time. That was the right time. Because if they willing to do that to us out there, just think of what they willing to do to us anywhere else. Yeah, that's man. It would. I mean, just from what I've seen, just from a distance, it's just like that's exactly what it looked like, you know. And then they talking about, yeah, we're gonna help rebuild New Orleans and all that. And yeah, okay, you did a couple things here and there, but but from what I've seen, it's been the people. Yeah, I'll never forget that was living. Yeah, the police were straight up killing and burning. I heard about that. I heard about that. But that's what I'm saying. People were out there like really taking advantage, you know, and they was getting away with it because it was nothing out there. Who was gonna do what? You know, and it's kind of crazy because you think about all the people that that have uh the money, the influence, then do more. Oh yeah, I think I heard that name. I think I heard that name. But yeah, I'm gonna look them up. I'm definitely gonna do that. Because it's like so much more um about what happened that they're still not saying. And I definitely want to know because anything that got to do with black people, I I got to know. Hey, Lonnie, I know you seen what happened out there in New York with that subway situation. Y'all already know. That shit at the subway out there in New York was crazy. Yeah, I seen it then. And you be seeing the chick try to glue her hand to the court during the play. Oh man. Yeah, that some of the things, hey, I don't know what people be thinking about. That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy shit. Oh man. Oh, you talking about the playing game earlier? See, like they won't rip her hand off the court. Man, what the hell? Hey, that's what I'm saying. People be out here doing some weird shit. I wonder what made her just. She had to been drunk. She had to been drunk. She probably had a little bit too much beer. Cause what would make you just like, oh, I'm just gonna glue my hand to the court? Like, what part of the game is that? That's wild. Yeah, because I didn't even watch the game. I was watching the baseball game, and plus I was cooking too. They said she was trying to protest. I don't know what. Well, see, the game was in Minnesota, and they do have some things going on out there. So maybe she was, if she was protesting, maybe it was one of them things she was protesting about. But that's still a weird way to do something. Glue your hand to the court. Like you could have made a sign or something, because they would have definitely got it on camera. But all you did was get your ass a night to the a night to that cot. 4 o'clock breakfast. Yeah, I don't know. That's mm, mm, mm. I'm gonna try to. Hey, I'm pretty sure they got that shit on YouTube. Oh, I know she did. Hey, I know they got that shit on YouTube. I'm gonna as soon as I get off of here, I'm gonna pull that shit up because I gotta see this. Went ahead and glued her hand to the court. Wow. Well, shoot. I guess it's a good thing. She's not a feminist because she probably would have came out there butt naked trying to glue her hand to the court. Praying the glue dries quicker than the cuffs. Oh, for real. Yeah, she was stupid for that. Oh, hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, y'all. I'm gonna have to cut this short. So got something to do. I might jump back up on here in about an hour or so, if I have time. But until then, Lonnie, thanks for coming through again. You know, I definitely appreciate the support. And to everybody that is going to catch this on the playback, thank you for watching. Make sure y'all subscribe. You know, and I'm gonna be back at y'all again. So, like always, whatever you do in life, make sure you keep it militant, stand on your square, and don't let nobody knock you off. Till then, peace.